Salmon fishing is a process that requires skill, experience and a deep understanding of the biology and habitat of this fish species. Usually, salmon are caught during the spawning season, when they migrate from the sea to freshwater rivers to spawn. Fishermen often use many different methods such as nets, traps, lines or nets to catch fish, of which, net fishing is the most popular, especially purse seine and trawl nets, which are set up at the main migration points of salmon in rivers or estuaries. Experienced fishermen will monitor the water currents, weather and signs of fish schools to determine the appropriate time and location. In addition, in strictly managed areas, salmon are also caught by manual methods such as using large nets, to minimize harm to the environment and other living species. To ensure the quality of fish after catching, people often transport salmon in a cold environment. Quickly processing to keep it fresh. In addition, salmon fishing is currently under close supervision by environmental protection organizations to prevent overexploitation, contributing to maintaining ecological balance and sustainable aquatic resources for the future. In the process of catching salmon, compliance with regulations on time and output is extremely important. Many countries such as Canada, Norway or the United States have issued strict policies to limit the number of salmon allowed to be caught each year, as well as clear regulations on the minimum size of fish allowed to be caught. This helps ensure that fish have enough time to mature and reproduce, thereby maintaining natural breeding sources. In addition to catching salmon in the wild, some areas have also developed a fishing model combined with semi-natural farming, where fish are raised in large areas near rivers or seas. Then released into the natural environment during the breeding season, and then caught in a controlled manner. This method ensures a stable supply while reducing pressure on wild salmon populations. In addition, modern equipment such as sonar, remote monitoring systems, and satellite technology are also applied to support fishermen in monitoring fish schools more effectively, thereby improving productivity and minimizing risks during fishing. However, along with the achievements, salmon fishing also poses many environmental challenges such as water pollution, impacts on other species, and the risk of biodiversity loss if not well managed. Therefore, the harmonious combination of exploitation and conservation is becoming an inevitable trend in the modern aquaculture industry, to ensure long-term benefits for both humans and nature, not only stopping at the catching stage. The process of preserving and transporting salmon after harvest also plays a key role in maintaining product quality. Immediately after the fish are taken out of the water, they need to be quickly cooled, usually with ice or a specialized refrigeration system, to prevent decomposition and keep the fish meat fresh. On offshore fishing trips, fish are often processed right on the boat, such as gutting, cleaning and temporarily packaging to bring back to the mainland. After that, the fish are brought to processing plants with strict food hygiene and safety procedures. Here, Salmon can be consumed in many different forms such as fresh fish, fillets, frozen fish, smoked or pre-processed according to market demand. These products are not only for domestic consumption but also exported to many places around the world, especially high-end markets such as Japan, Europe and the United States. Where salmon is always a popular dish because of its high nutritional value and unique flavor. Moreover, with the increase in global consumer demand, salmon fishing is now not only a traditional activity but has become an industry with great economic value, contributing to job creation and income improvement for millions of people. However, this development comes with significant pressure on the ecosystem, especially the decline in the number of wild salmon due to climate change, water pollution and the construction of hydroelectric dams that hinder their spawning migration. Faced with this situation, many nature conservation organizations have coordinated with governments to develop salmon recovery programs, such as creating artificial migration routes, improving river water quality and encouraging responsible fishing. Thanks to the continuous efforts, many areas have recorded a significant recovery in salmon numbers in recent years. Opening up hope for the sustainable development of this precious aquatic species in the future. In addition to technical and environmental factors, culture and tradition are also an indispensable part of salmon fishing activities in many regions of the world. For some indigenous communities such as the Inuit in North America or the tribes in the Pacific Northwest, salmon is not only a major food source but also associated with thousands of years of beliefs, rituals and lifestyles. Every salmon season, they hold solemn festivals to thank nature, express gratitude to the river, to their ancestors and to the fish that feed the community. In these ceremonies, they often use traditional fishing methods such as spears, hand nets, or wooden traps placed in small streams, methods that are both simple and respectful of nature, without destroying the fish's habitat. It is this harmony between humans and nature that has helped maintain ecological balance and kept salmon resources preserved for many generations. Today, in the context of economic development coupled with the need to protect the environment, such traditional values are being re-examined and appreciated more than ever. Many community fishing models combined with ecotourism are being implemented, allowing visitors to experience salmon fishing with local people, while learning about the ecosystem, culture and cuisine associated with this special fish species. This not only creates a new source of income for the community but also raises social awareness of the importance of protecting natural resources. In general, salmon fishing is not simply an economic activity, but also a story about the long-term connection between humans and nature, requiring each of us to act more responsibly to protect and preserve these precious values for future generations. The development of science and technology in the present era also plays an important role in improving salmon fishing methods. towards greater sustainability and efficiency. Many companies and research institutes have invested in the production of smart nets that can sort fish by size, helping to release small fish that are not old enough to reproduce, thereby minimizing the impact on natural populations. Some devices can also record data on water temperature, dissolved oxygen levels or flow rates, important parameters that help fishermen accurately identify areas with a lot of migratory salmon. Moreover, blockchain technology is also being applied in the salmon supply chain to make the process from capture to consumption transparent, helping consumers trace the origin and feel more secure about the quality of the product. In the future, to ensure long-term resources, governments and international organizations need to continue to cooperate closely to develop sustainable management policies. Establishing ecological conservation areas along rivers, monitoring the construction of hydropower projects, and raising public awareness of rational exploitation are necessary steps. At the same time, investing in salmon farming to gradually replace natural exploitation is also a trend chosen by many countries. Although aquaculture can cause some impacts such as water pollution and the risk of spreading diseases, if properly managed with strict environmental standards, this will be a feasible solution to meet the growing demand without putting pressure on the ecosystem. In short, salmon fishing is no longer simply a traditional occupation but has become a complex industry, closely related to economics, culture, environment and science and technology, balancing exploitation and conservation. Between immediate benefits and long-term development is a problem that requires coordination and continuous efforts from the fishing community, managers, scientists and consumers around the world. Only then can we maintain this precious resource for today and tomorrow. In addition to the above factors, education and communication also play an important role in promoting public awareness of the importance of protecting salmon and their habitat. School programs, documentaries, social media campaigns and nature-based extracurricular activities are increasingly being organized, especially in areas with rich salmon ecosystems. These activities help the younger generation to better understand the unique life cycle of salmon, from birth in freshwater streams, swimming to the ocean and returning to the same place to spawn, a journey that is both magical and fragile. Thanks to that, children and local people love and actively participate in the protection of this fish species. From small things like not littering rivers and streams, not catching fish out of season, to volunteering to participate in research and biological monitoring activities. In addition, the participation of non-governmental organizations and the scientific community also contributes to promoting large-scale salmon research and restoration projects. They implement salmon breeding programs in the laboratory, then release them into the wild with strict monitoring to assess the adaptability and recovery of the population. Some areas also apply the technique of attaching positioning chips to each fish to track their migration journey, helping to collect valuable data for long-term research. In particular, in the context of global climate change increasingly affecting water temperature, rainfall and river levels, all of which impact the spawning cycle of salmon. This data becomes extremely necessary for scientists to make accurate recommendations. Thereby orienting conservation strategies suitable for each specific area. Ultimately, it is the resonance between tradition, technology, public awareness and modern science that can create a truly sustainable salmon fishing system. When people know how to appreciate natural values and work together to preserve them, not only salmon, but also rivers, forests, and all other living creatures will continue to exist, develop, enriching human life and culture. Therefore, protecting salmon is not just an act of protecting a fish species, it is a symbol of life, of ecological balance, and of our own future. Entering the era of green development and circular economy, salmon is also gradually becoming a symbol of a sustainable value chain in the global seafood industry. From catching, processing, consuming to post-production byproduct treatment. Every step can be optimized to minimize waste and increase value. In particular, fish meat is the main ingredient for processing fresh, frozen or canned food, while the head, bones, skin and organs are used to produce fish oil, fish meal, cosmetics or even functional foods rich in omega-3. Many advanced countries have adopted a zero-waste model in the exploitation and use of salmon, in order to maximize the value that this fish brings, while minimizing the negative impact on the natural environment. Not only that, the salmon industry also has the potential to become one of the leading fields in the application of biotechnology and automation. Modern salmon farms have applied robots to monitor the health of fish, automatically feed, check water quality and detect early signs of disease. In the future, with the support of artificial intelligence and big data, people can accurately predict the migration time, spawning season, growth rate and catch yield of salmon, thereby making accurate and timely management decisions. These advances are not only making salmon aquaculture smarter, but also paving the way for more sustainable, safe, and responsible development. Above all, salmon is not just a nutritious food that is popular around the world, but also a living testament to the deep connection between humans and the natural environment. Harvesting salmon scientifically, humanely, and responsibly is the way for us to preserve not only precious aquatic resources, but also to preserve the pristine beauty of nature, where every river, every forest, and every migratory fish school continues to be part of the sustainable rhythm of life on this earth. It is a long journey. But it is completely worth it for all of us to join hands to make it happen. There is no denying that the quest to protect and sustainably harvest salmon is a microcosm of the struggle between economic development and habitat preservation. In an increasingly modern and rapidly urbanizing world, many rivers that were once highways for migrating salmon are suffering from severe pollution. being blocked by hydroelectric projects, or being altered by sand mining, construction, and agriculture. These changes make the journey back to their spawning grounds more arduous than ever, and can even severely reduce the number of salmon that return each season. This is a wake-up call for humans about the costs of continuing to underestimate the importance of nature in the development process. In that context, the construction of ecological corridors, such as water channels, fish migration ladders at hydroelectric dams, or riverbed restoration with natural materials, is increasingly being applied to support salmon returning to their spawning grounds. Many cities and residential areas have also begun to establish riverside protection areas, plant protective forests, and treat wastewater before discharging it into the environment to restore the purity of the flow. In some countries such as Japan and New Zealand, taking students to salmon conservation centers to observe and release baby fish into streams has become a traditional educational activity, instilling a love of nature and environmental awareness in the young generation. From all these efforts, we can see that salmon fishing, if done responsibly and associated with a long-term conservation strategy, can absolutely become an ideal model in the relationship between humans and nature. It is not only a lesson in how to make reasonable use of resources, but also a clear demonstration that humans can develop without necessarily destroying the living environment. Preserving salmon is also preserving life, not only of a fish species, but of an entire ecosystem, and more deeply, of humanity itself on this blue planet from a deeper perspective. Salmon is not only a food source or an economic exploitation object, but also a symbol of resilience, life cycle and connection between ecosystems. The journey of salmon traveling hundreds, even thousands of kilometers from the ocean back to the place where they were born to lay eggs is not simply a survival instinct, but also a testament to the strong vitality and sacred attachment between the animal and its original habitat. That journey goes through many different water areas: salt water, brackish water, fresh water. Each place brings its own challenges, requiring salmon to have good health, excellent orientation ability and a special biological mechanism that modern science is still constantly learning about. Therefore, when humans contribute to protecting this fish species, it means that we are protecting an important link in the natural chain. Salmon are a major food source for many species, including bears, eagles,